What methods do you have for coping with anxiety? Story 1. Many people here have given great lifestyle advice like exercise and meditation and journaling. So, I want to jump in with an in-the-moment practice that helps me. It's based on the adage that you are not your thoughts, which basically means that even if you think something, it doesn't define you. It's not you. It's just a thought that's crossing through your brain. You can choose to pick that thought up and hold it, or you can stand back and watch it pass by, and let the next thought come. So, what I've done is sort of imagine my thoughts as being in little boxes on a conveyor belt. As they come, I pick them up and open them, and see what's inside. And if it's an anxiety thought, I imagine myself just closing the box and putting it back on the belt, and saying thanks, but I'll wait for the next one, and letting it travel away. It sounds silly and trite, but it's actually helped me a surprising amount to deal with acute spikes. Good luck, OP. You are doing better than your anxieties want you to think you are. Edit. If this is intriguing to you, please also check out the reply from you, starry-eyed. They have added some great context and additional methods that might help as well. This technique is called thought diffusion, and we practiced this in the anxiety program I was in a bunch. My favorite method is labeling. So, when a thought comes up, saying, that's a judging thought, or that's an anxious thought. It seems silly, but it helps distance you from distressing thoughts your brain spits out. Other methods are repeating the thoughts you have in a silly voice, or imagining leaves on a stream, and putting your thoughts on the leaves as they float away. Naming your mind is another favorite. I call mine Craig. Whenever I get any distressing thoughts, Elmo. I used to struggle with self-harm, and now when my brain is like, you should go hurt yourself, I'll think, or we could not do that, Craig. You ducking weirdo. Along similar lines, a practice that's helped me a bunch is to allocate anxiety-driven thoughts to the gremlin brain. Just picturing a terrible little creature saying awful things makes it so much easier to dismiss them and move on with my day, instead of letting the negative thoughts take over. Story 2. Mostly unhealthy methods. Working too much, drinking too much, constantly thinking about what is triggering the anxiety. Being unproductive at work, which adds to the anxiety. Drinking too much, wasting my free time doom scrolling Reddit and Instagram, before getting upset with myself, because I haven't done anything useful, like make dinner or take the dogs for a walk. Stress eat until I'm overly full. Stay up too late to procrastinate facing the next day, and give up most of my hobbies, because even having to make decisions on those gives too much anxiety. But at least I've taken up running to help burn off some of that energy, so I've got that going for me. Story 3. I'll go out and get groceries or something I've been meaning to get from my place. Not like impulse buying, but like something I need that I've just been putting off. Gets me doing something productive. I'm outside, and then I feel one step ahead of where I was when I was feeling like base. Playing music, gym, or just any hobby really. Going out to get something I need helps me a lot when I am depressed. I tend to not leave the house, and not leaving the house makes me feel worse. But even just getting up and going to the grocery store or gas station helps me a lot. Once I was feeling awful. I was super low. I was stuck at home due to not being able to taste anything. Never tested positive for COVID. No other symptoms. It was weird. But I had to quarantine anyways. My boyfriend wanted McDonald's, asked if I wanted to go. I wasn't hungry, but I still went. We did the drive-thru, so I didn't even have to get out of the car. But the act of going outside for a few seconds, getting in the car, and going somewhere else made me feel a ton better. I like doing the grocery store when I am depressed, because it gets me out of the house. I do something I need to do. I have food at home to eat, and I feel a bit better. Story 4. As someone going through shit right now, thank you everyone. Edit. Didn't expect to get this much attention. But, like I said below, I'll be okay. Life has its ups and downs, and this is just one stretch of the journey. Many people suggested meds and therapy. I'm a huge supporter of mental health meds and destroying the ducking stigma linked with taking them. I'll be okay. And if you're going through shit too, you'll be okay too. Sometimes we get bombarded and just need to take shelter for a bit for the danger to pass. Story 5. Breathe in through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold breath 4 seconds. Breathe out from your mouth for 4 seconds. Hold breath 4 seconds. Repeat for a few minutes. I adjust this, as many get stuck on counting to 4. The magic is in the out breath. According to polyvagal theory, the fight or flight versus rest and digest is at many different levels. Every time I breathe in, my body is readying for a fight. Every time I breathe out, my body gets a chance to relax. So, emphasize a big, long, slow, gentle out breath. After a big breath in, a slight pause either side. Story 6. Depends on the type of anxiety. And my type of anxiety bingo card is about full. So, I do lots of things. Health anxiety, square breathing, and not Googling stuff. Focusing on times I've gotten through periods of it before also helps. General anxiety, as hard as it is, distraction. Literally any task that might just stop me spiraling. Listening to happy music, something I associate with having a good time, or a happy memory. Combating it with positive thoughts, and also remembering that whatever I'm worrying about might not come to pass. I know it may sound cliche, but yoga has helped me with a lot of my anxiety too, and also discussing it and normalizing it. Often when I was a child I was shouted at for panicking, which just made it worse. Being kind to myself and accepting I have it has really improved how I cope with it. Story 7. I try to turn it into a resource. I've had violent anxiety for years. It's a curse. So, at least I try to take advantage of it. Some of the ideas I wrote down during peak anxiety at 4 a.m. solved some problems I had been stuck on for weeks. It's like the brain works extra hard in these moments. When I can't come up with an actual idea, I write down a tiny step that goes towards reducing the source of my anxiety. They're not a solution. They just go in the direction of reducing the problem. For example, when my brain goes, "You messed up at work. You're so dumb. Everyone will know how incompetent you are, and you'll get fired." I give myself the task to complete a short online class, so I am more qualified in case I need to find a new job. Projecting myself in the future with a concrete task helps to calm down. And I've completed hundreds of those classes. Now recruiters think I'm passionate. All thanks to my anxiety. Hope it helps a little bit. Good luck. Story 8. I like to divide anxiety into 2 different types. 1. Momentary anxiety. And 2. Structural anxiety. The first is when you get an anxiety attack. You are doing something, and then it hits you. I personally get paralyzed. Need to lie down or seek a quick hit from one of my vices. For this type, I think people in the thread have been giving great advice. Journaling, meditation, exercise, coming back to a ritual like drinking tea, taking a cold shower, or anything like that. But what has improved my life the most is dealing with structural anxiety. For example, one of the things that made me feel momentary anxiety is realizing that I'm behind other people in life. I would be browsing social media or something like that, and see an accomplishment somebody else had shared. That made me feel like I was behind in life, throwing away my potential, etc., and lead to an anxiety attack. What I started doing is attacking the source of anxiety. It is natural for people to have accomplishments that I don't. The same way I have accomplishments that they don't. Even then, it is okay for someone to accomplish something. Life is not a zero-sum game. And we all have different paths. And why am I browsing social media if it seldom makes me feel happy and often makes me feel desperate?